You know, have you ever wondered what really separates the people who just rocket up the career ladder from everyone else? It's not always about who's the smartest or most talented. Today, we're going to dig into a skill that's absolutely critical but often flies under the radar. How managing our own emotions is the real key to unlocking our professional potential. Just think about that for a second. One single moment. That one angry email you hit send on too fast. That one frustrated outburst in a meeting. Can a brief loss of control really have that kind of power? Well, the answer might just surprise you. Okay, let's get into it. We tend to think the biggest hurdles to our success are all external, right? Tough competition, a bad economy, maybe a difficult boss. But what if the biggest enemy we face isn't out there at all? What if it's actually inside us? An enemy that hides in plain sight, our own negative emotions. And that's not just a nice thought. According to the research, out of the core skills you need for professional growth, emotional control is right there at the top. This isn't some fluffy, soft skill. It's a hardcore foundational ability. If you want a career that truly thrives, mastering this is non-negotiable. So, if we're going to control something, we first have to understand what it is. What is a negative emotion anyway? Is it some kind of character flaw? A weakness? Nope. Turns out, it's way simpler than that. It's just a biological event. Let's break down the chemistry. Here's the big takeaway. When you feel that sudden surge of anger or that wave of anxiety, it is not a personal failure. It's a purely physical response. It's just a specific chemical cocktail getting released in your body. In other words, it's not you, it's chemistry. I love this way of thinking about it. It's a chemical storm. And like any storm, yeah, it feels incredibly intense and all-consuming while it's happening. But here's the secret. Its very nature is to be temporary. The chemicals causing that feeling, they have a super short shelf life. They literally become inactive all on their own, usually in just a few minutes, without you having to do a single thing. And this is where it gets really fascinating. Look at the incredible mismatch here. On one side, you've got the feeling itself, a fleeting chemical blip that's over in minutes. But on the other side, you've got the consequence of acting on that feeling, which can last a lifetime. A few minutes of emotion versus a lifetime of impact. That's a huge disconnect. That disconnect we just talked about, that's the danger zone. That's where all the damage happens. When we act impulsively during that brief chemical storm, we can cause problems that echo for years and years, hurting our careers and our relationships in ways we never, ever intended. And the process itself is dangerously simple. It's a three-step chain reaction. First, something triggers you. A stressful project, a critical comment, whatever. Second, you react. You make a snap judgment, fire off that text. And third, the fallout. A burned bridge with a colleague, a hit to your reputation, a career door slammed shut. Now this is the point that really needs to sink in. The things we say and do in those few emotionally charged moments can create consequences that we have to live with for the rest of our professional lives. That is a massive price to pay for what is, remember, just a temporary feeling. And the costs, they go way beyond just your job title. We're talking about real damage. Unchecked emotions will shred your professional reputation. They will absolutely strain and even break your working relationships. And as our source material points out, over time, they even cause actual physical harm to your body. Okay, that was the bad news. We've laid out the problem pretty clearly, but the real story here isn't about the danger, it's about the opportunity. Because if a lack of control is the enemy, then mastering control becomes your ultimate superpower for success. This quote from Jack Ma just nails it, doesn't it? It's not always about being the smartest person in the room with the highest IQ. It's about being the most emotionally intelligent. Your emotional quotient, your EQ, is your ability to understand and manage your own emotions. And in the professional world, that is a game-changing skill. This chart really just says it all visually. Sure, a high IQ is great. It'll get you in the door. But it's that high EQ, that emotional intelligence, that's going to propel you to the top. That ability to stay cool under pressure, to navigate tricky social situations, to make clear-headed decisions when everyone else is losing it, that's what separates the good from the great. And it's a direct one-to-one correlation. Think about it. Emotional control isn't just a defensive play to avoid making mistakes. It's an offensive strategy for winning. Every single time you successfully navigate a tough emotion instead of reacting to it, you are actively building the foundation for your next big win. All right, so how do we actually put this into practice? Let's take everything we've talked about and distill it down into a simple, actionable game plan that you can use the next time you feel that chemical storm starting to brew. Here it is, your 3-step plan. It's super simple. First, recognize. The moment you feel it, just identify it. Say to yourself, okay, this is just a chemical reaction. Give it a name to get some distance. Second, understand. Remind yourself of the rule. This is temporary. This storm will pass. And third, and this is the most important one, refrain. Just pause, step away. Do not send that email. Do not make that decision. Just give the chemistry a few minutes to fade away. And that really brings us to the final question you have to ask yourself. In any given moment, the choice is yours. Are you going to let a temporary chemical storm make a permanent decision for you? Or are you going to take a breath, take control, and consciously build the career and the future that you actually want? The power, quite literally, is all in your head.